Hello everyone, you're very welcome. My name is Kevin McCoy and I'm a Customer Relationship Manager here at KantanMT. Today I'm going to present to you a quick guide to machine translation with KantanMT. This is actually a repeat of the webinar I gave last week, and it's the first in a series of KantanMT webinars which we will be rolling out in the coming months and weeks. This webinar should take no longer than 30 minutes. Okay, so what do we aim to cover here today? So my aim today is to give you an introduction to machine translation. I will discuss the relevance and importance of machine translation to the industry today. This will then be followed by an overview of cloud computing, as its emergence has been a game breaker for machine translation and indeed the translation industry. I will then give an introduction to our powerful machine translation service, KantanMT, followed by a practical demonstration of KantanMT in action. Finally, there will be a questions and answers session where I will deal with your queries. So please feel free to submit questions to me by text throughout, and I will answer them at the end of the webinar. So what is machine translation? Machine translation is automated translation. It is a process by which computer software is used to translate text from one language to another. From a practical point of view, machine translation requires massive amounts of disk space and computer processing power. To process any translation, human or machine, the meaning of the text in the original language must be fully restored in the target language, that is, the translation. While on the surface this seems straightforward, it is far more complex. Translation, as you all know, is not mere word-for-word substitution. Human and machine translation each have their share of challenges. For example, no two individual translators can produce identical translations of the same text in the same language pair, and it may take several rounds of revisions to meet customer satisfaction. But the greater challenge lies in how machine translation can produce publishable quality translations. There are two main approaches to solving this challenge: rule-based machine translation technology and statistical machine translation technology. Rule-based machine translation relies on countless built-in linguistic rules and millions of bilingual dictionaries for each language pair. These requirements can be time-consuming and extremely expensive to create, and must be done each time a new language pair is required. This has been a contributing factor to the slow adoption and usage of machine translation in the translation industry. Statistical machine translation utilizes statistical translation models generated from the analysis of monolingual and bilingual content. And guess what? This is actually something our members and their clients have an abundance of. They're called translation memories. Essentially, this approach uses computing power to build sophisticated data models to translate one source language into another. This makes the usage of statistical machine translation a far simpler proposition, and this has been a significant factor in the broader adoption of statistical machine translation technology in the translation industry. Traditionally, machine translation has been expensive and challenging to use, complex, and produce low-quality translations. Our KantanMT platform is a cloud-based machine translation service which addresses these challenges. It is important to point out that machine translation will not work without the input of human translators. Unless your client has agreed to a GIST translation, you will most likely have to apply some level of post-edit to your machine translation. In post-editing, a human translator will be required to post-edit the machine-translated files. But as the bulk of the translation has been machine-translated, the human intervention is a post-edit, and so your productivity and in turn your profits will be increased. So what is the relevance and importance of machine translation? Our members are telling us that their clients are constantly screaming for more translations but are only willing to pay less. There is a constant pressure on you to increase your productivity and do more for less. The translation industry is a competitive environment where margins are tight and your clients invariably require translation cheaper and faster. All the time you're finding that your costs are increasing and you're finding that your language resources are difficult to source. Cost savings from translation memory technologies such as Trados or other similar CAT tools have already been factored into your prices, leaving you with no room to leverage. And inexplicably, your competitors are offering rates that you simply can't compete with. However, there is a solution. Using machine translation alongside your existing translation workflows allows you the opportunity to increase your productivity and earn more profit for your business. Our KantanMT platform is a cloud-based machine translation service which will unlock this potential. KantanMT will increase productivity, enable you to process more words per hour per day. The net result is higher earnings, more income, and better margins for our members. But before I go into KantanMT in more detail, let me talk a bit about cloud computing. What is cloud computing? I mentioned in slide 3 that machine translation requires massive amounts of disk space and computing power. Well, the emergence of cloud computing provides us with an abundance of disk space and computing power. So yes, while statistical machine translation requires significant computer processing power to build high-quality translation models, the increasing availability of cloud-based computing makes this technology a game-changer for the translation industry. Cloud computing is an alternative to traditional ways of purchasing and consuming software applications. In cloud computing, users are provided access to application software databases. The cloud providers manage the infrastructure and platforms on which the applications run. Traditional machine translation applications have always been very complicated and expensive. The amount and variety of hardware and software required to run them is daunting. You would need a whole team of experts to install, configure, test, run, secure, and update them. When you consider this complexity, in tandem with the deployment costs, small and mid-sized language service providers have previously found it very difficult to avail of machine translation. However, with cloud computing, you eliminate those headaches because you're not investing in or managing the hardware and software. That's our responsibility at KantanMT. Members can plug in and scale up and down, paying only for what they need. So what is KantanMT? KantanMT is focused on making machine translation easy to use, inexpensive to access, and available to small to mid-sized LSPs that are eager to integrate machine translation into their clients' translation workflows. KantanMT platform is a cloud-based machine translation service which addresses the traditional challenges of machine translation in terms of cost, complexity, security, and quality. KantanMT is the solution, providing powerful machine translation at your fingertips. Looking at each of these traditional obstacles in greater detail. In terms of cost, we are harnessing the power of the cloud. The shared infrastructure means it works like a utility. You only pay for what you need, upgrades are automatic, and scaling up or down is easy. There are no setup costs. With regard to complexity, we have demystified the complexity of machine translation. You simply launch your browser, log on, customize the app, and start using it. I will actually demonstrate this in a few minutes. In terms of security, we realize that the client's data is confidential, so we encrypt and store securely, giving access only to the account holder. The client's data is never shared or made available across the internet. In relation to quality, KantanMT can be trained to provide higher quality, more consistent outputs. The key to maximizing the benefits of machine translation is the ability to train the engine. And using the KantanMT platform, we've made this really easy for our members. Simply upload your existing translation memory files or glossary files, and this will enhance the quality, consistency, and precision of the machine translation's generated output. So here is a diagram that illustrates the workflow and the simplicity of what's involved. At the center is the KantanMT engine. Users will access this on the cloud seamlessly from their PC or laptop. Then you will see there are 3 steps to create machine translation files. First, we have the preparation step, where we upload the training data. This training data will be previous translation memories for your client. As with any statistical machine translation engine, the more training data you use to build your engine, the better its capacity to generate translations that mimic your translation style and terminology. We call this training your engine. Secondly, we have the build step, where we build the KantanMT engine. Thirdly, we have the translation step, where the untranslated files that your client requires to be translated are uploaded. After the 3 steps, the KantanMT engine will work in the background and translate and output your client's translated files. It really is that easy. Okay, so now we're ready for the demo. In this demo, you will see 3 simple steps to machine translation using KantanMT. In step 1, I will show you how to prepare your client's profile and train your engine. In step 2, I will demo how to build your KantanMT engine. Finally, in step 3, I will show you how to translate your client's files. Okay, so let me demonstrate this. Let me allow you to share my desktop with you. Okay, here we go. So we simply launch a browser. Go to KantanMT. Click on Login. Enter your email address and password and log in. Now, there are 3 simple steps to machine translation. The first step is preparation, where you create a new profile and upload your training data. Okay, to create a new profile, I click on this plus icon. I enter the name. And create engine profile. Profile is being created. I click on the profile I just created and I want to choose my source and target language. For this demo, I'm going to use English for source and French for target. And update client profile. Okay, so now here's our client profile I just created. Source language English, target language French. Now I want to upload my training data. So go to the training data tab, click on upload, and choose upload files. Now here I have my training data. It's in a zip file. It's more efficient to compress your training data, but it's important to have the actual training data on the root of the zip file. So I'm going to click on the training data. Actually, just for a moment, let me just show you what's in this training data. So if I double click on the zip file, you can see there's a source and target. So back to KantanMT, click on the training data and click open. Okay, the files have been uploaded. And that's our preparation step complete. Now step 2 is the build step. To do this, we simply click on Build KantanMT. Now KantanMT is working away in the background, building the engine from the training data. It's a process here, so it may take a number of minutes. To track the jobs, click on My Jobs. So here we can see the job that we've just sent to building, it's scheduling. So for the moment, let's let that work away in the background. I'm going to show you what files we're going to translate. So back here to desktop, test data. So here is a Word doc. So it's a one-page Word doc with text, different formatting, a graphic, and a 2-column table there. And this is the file we're going to translate, and alongside it I have a TMX file, which you can see has English source and French target, and as you can see, it's not translated as of yet. So we're going to put these two files through our engine and we're going to output them translated. Okay, so back to KantanMT and see how our building is getting on. Okay, just refresh. Okay, as you can see, it's still working away. So rather than delay you any further, I'm just going to go to a client profile which I created earlier. So here I have one I created this morning for this demo. It's KantanMT February 5th demo. Here the training data has been uploaded. On the right hand side here you can see the blue score. This is an internationally recognized measure of the quality of your MT engine. To improve this, you need to upload more training data. This is at 25%, which to be honest is quite average. The aim would be to get this to 50%. So just to recap, in the first two steps I prepared and I built. Now we're ready to translate. So to go to translate, we click on Client Files and we click on Upload. Upload files. I'm going to choose the docx file and the TMX, which I showed you a few moments ago. Okay, the files are uploaded. At this point, you can also add up glossary files, which are in TBX format. Okay, now simply the third step is translate. So click on the Translate button. So as with the building the engine, to track job progress, we click on My Jobs. So here we can see it's scheduling the translation of this engine. Again, I don't really want to keep you waiting, so let me show you an identical job from earlier. When the translation is complete, it will appear like this. There's a positive checkbox, green symbol to indicate completion, and then there's a green arrow pointing downwards. Click on this to download your translated file. The files are downloaded in results.zip. Let me open this to see what we have. Okay, so let me open the docx file. Okay, so here we have the Word file translated into French. The formatting is maintained, the graphic, the two-column table. Let me look at the TMX file. Here we have the source English and French, English, French, the whole way down. As you can see, it's completely translated. Now the idea here could be that we could get the post editor to go into this file using a cat tool and edit it, and then when it's complete we could then go back to Kantan, go to the client profile and upload the TMX file, and it'll improve the consistency and quality of the engine. So it would be really useful if you could discover how simple this is for yourself and sign in to KantanMT and start using it with your own files. And KantanMT is free until the end of March. So it would be really interesting if you could try it out with your own files and see for yourself the value of it. Okay, so let me go back to the slides. Okay, so we're nearly complete. Thanks for your time today. Just to wrap up, I just want to summarize what we covered. Firstly, I gave you an introduction to machine translation, the two different technologies and the challenges traditionally associated with machine translation. Then I discussed the relevance and importance of machine translation in today's very competitive industry. I then explained cloud computing and the importance of its emergence in solving some of the traditional issues around machine translation. After that, I went on to introduce KantanMT and dealt with how we in KantanMT have tackled the traditional challenges of cost, complexity, security and quality. This was followed by a demonstration of KantanMT in action. I demonstrated a simple three-step approach to a powerful machine translation using KantanMT. In future webinars, I will cover such areas as integrating machine translation into your standard localization workflow, improving the quality of your engines, and introduce some really powerful post-editing tools. Okay folks, that's the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for your time, and for additional information please contact me at the email address or the telephone number provided here. And in my email to you after the webinar, I'll also include a copy of the slides.